Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation with a powerful message. Do not accept the role society assigns you. Today, we'll explore how to recreate yourself, inspired by Law 25. Over the next few slides, we'll discuss strategies and insights to help you break free from limiting roles and embrace your true potential. Let's get started. Be the master of your own image, rather than letting others define it for you. It's easy to fall into the trap of relying on how society perceives us, but true confidence comes from taking control. Like a sculptor, you must carve away the layers of identity that society has imposed on you. This means actively shaping and refining who you are, rather than passively accepting labels or expectations. Forge a new identity, one that truly represents your values, your passions, your unique qualities. When you do this, you command attention because you're authentic and intentional about who you are becoming. Remember, your image is something you create, not something others dictate. Let's talk about what I call the chameleon strategy. The core idea here is that true power comes from what I call the second birth. This is that pivotal moment when you decide to create your own persona, to take control of how you present yourself. Think of it like a chameleon. Just as a chameleon changes its colors to blend in or stand out, you too must be able to adapt your image to fit the situation. This ability to shift and evolve is what captures the imagination of your audience and makes your presence unforgettable. Now, society is always trying to put you into a box. It might assign you a role based on your past, your family background, or your social class. But here, the key point, that role is often boring and restrictive. It limits your potential and keeps you from truly expressing who you are. That's why the second birth is so powerful. It's about breaking free from those constraints. It's about consciously choosing to reinvent yourself, to craft a persona that aligns with your goals and passions. When you do this, you're not just fitting into a predefined role, you're creating a new identity that empowers you and captivates others. This is how you harness the chameleon strategy to stand out and lead with authenticity. He carefully crafted his image. Think about the hand in the coat, the hat, the stoic expression. It was all deliberate. Napoleon knew that to truly lead a nation, he had to become a symbol larger than life itself. He didn't just command armies, he commanded the imagination of France. It's important to remember that Napoleon was not born an emperor. He was actually a minor Corsican noble, which shows how much he understood that power is often as much theatrical as it is political. This idea, that perception and image matter just as much as real authority, really ties into our overall theme of leadership and symbolism. Napoleon mastered this art, transforming himself into an icon that inspired and commanded loyalty. George Sand was truly a trailblazer in her time. She defied the expectations society had for women by adopting a very masculine style, wearing men's clothing and smoking cigars. She also wrote under a male pseudonym, which was quite revolutionary. By breaking these societal molds, she fascinated Paris and gained the freedom to live and create exactly as she wished. Her birth name was Aurore Dupin, but she realized that women in 19th century France had very little power or agency. So she recreated herself as George Sand, a name that allowed her to express her true self and pursue her passions without the constraints placed on women of that era. Her life and choices exemplify the theme of challenging societal norms and forging one's own path. When it comes to keys to power, one of the most important ideas is to never let the public see the real you. Keep them guessing. If you come across as too predictable, people tend to ignore you or dismiss your influence. But if you maintain an air of mystery, you become more intriguing and worthy of attention. This ties into the concept of the mystery. Remember, life is like theater. Our appearances and disappearances should be carefully controlled. Knowing exactly when to make a dramatic entrance or exit can significantly boost your presence and impact. It's about managing your visibility to keep others captivated. And that brings us to rhythm and timing. You have to be constantly aware of how you look and sound. Acting naturally is a trap. It's much more powerful to act deliberately. Control your gestures, your tone, your words. When you master this, you control the narrative you present to the world, shaping how others perceive you and your power. Finally, self-consciousness is essential. Be aware of yourself, your appearance, your voice, your demeanor, and adjust intentionally. This isn't about being fake, it's about being purposeful. When you act with intention, you project confidence and command attention, reinforcing your presence and influence in any situation. When you refuse to wear a mask, you essentially become transparent and predictable. And what does that mean? Well, it means you lose the ability to enchant, seduce, or even intimidate others. Society has this expectation that we should present a certain image, a mask if you will, to stand out or influence. But if you reject that, society tends to see you as just as you are, which can sound authentic, but often results in being ignored or dismissed. Society doesn't really care about raw authenticity. It cares about perception and impact. People who pride themselves on being authentic can sometimes lack power because they're not leveraging the strategic use of masks or facades. This brings us to the trap of authenticity. While it might seem admirable or brave to be completely genuine, it can actually limit your influence and effectiveness. True power often lies in knowing when and how to present yourself in a way that resonates and commands attention. So the key takeaway here is that authenticity, if taken to an extreme, can become a trap that hampers your ability to connect and influence in the ways you might want to. And here we have the sources for the images used throughout this presentation. First, from isticphoto.com, we see a powerful image of a stonemason chiseling away at a sculpture, symbolizing craftsmanship and the process of creation. Next, from Wikipedia, there's a well-known portrait of George Sand, reminding us of the importance of artistic expression and literary innovation. Moving on, from Medium, we have an intriguing image that captures the idea of transformation and the evolving nature of art. Then, from Vecteezy, there's a colorful chameleon blending into its environment, which beautifully illustrates adaptability and the importance of versatility and creativity. Lastly, also from isticphoto.com, we see a pair of masks, one tragic, one comedic, highlighting the duality of human emotion and the theatrical roots of storytelling. These images collectively reinforce the overarching theme of creativity, transformation, and expression that we've explored throughout this presentation.